Thank you for listening to the BJJ Brick Podcast. We'll be bringing you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and good times. We hope to flatten your Jiu-Jitsu learning curve, help you get the most out of your grappling ability, and meet your goals both on and off the mat.
Welcome back, my friends. This is Byron Jabard. I'm here with Gary Hall. This is episode 61 of the BJJ Brick Podcast. Today, we have the interview with Yanal Shahzadeh. He's from Jordan. An article from JujitsuTimes.com. A quote from our friend Gustavo. And at the end of the podcast, we have a review that kind of rips us up here. Gary, what's up, man?
Hey, I'm still trying to recover from our review from our friend Andy Dickey. He's one of our friends here from the show, and he wrote a review. So thank you, Andy.
Yep, absolutely. We asked for funny and interesting reviews that he did not fail to deliver. So, what's up? How are you doing? Otherwise,
I'm doing good today. How about you? Doing
all right. I think I'm going to be all right. I tweaked a muscle in my rib towards the back. So it's been 2 days, and it's getting better every day. I've had a rib injury before, and it took forever to get better. So I think this is just a little muscle thing. So that's good.
Did you do it on the mats or?
Yeah, I did. It's always with ribs. It seems like it's always weird. I had Mount, and we were just positional sparring, and buddy Dusty, was working, and he was shrimping, and I was twisting my body to kind of stay on top of him as he pushed me, and I felt like a little muscle pull, and suddenly my mount was never quite as good as it was that day, and I was able to roll without a ton of pain, but I wasn't able to roll that effectively.
Yeah, it always hurts when your ribs are injured. They're always, every move you make, you use your ribs, so it definitely does get a little painful. But what I would recommend to you, Byron, go back and check out episode 9. That's when we interview a paramedic about how to treat injuries. So definitely check out episode 9.
I'll do that. That's a good idea, and I'll hopefully get some little advice there.
You know, you were the guy, the first time I hurt my ribs really bad, you were the guy who helped me out. I will tell a quick story. I'd been training maybe a year and a half, and I hurt my ribs really bad. I couldn't even get up off the floor. Byron was the only one in the gym kind enough to help me up and throw me in my car. He got me in my car. Nobody else would help me up, so I appreciate that, Byron.
I do remember you. I don't remember that event, but I remember you telling the story, and you did say, and throw me in my car. I wasn't
really
real gentle.
Get up. It was that bad, and it started feeling a little bit better, and it was. I really remember that day. I just remember I was in so much pain, and everybody just wanted to keep rolling. And you're like, "I'll help you, Gary." So I'm indebted to you, Byron. Thank you.
I remember the early days. Since we're going to go down memory lane here a little bit, every night I would drive home, and it seems like I could not check my blind spot because my neck was too sore. I don't know what you guys are doing to my neck, but with experience and with some skill, that quickly went away. But I don't know. It took me a few months of I can't check my blind spot. I'm going to signal for a little while, and then kind of slowly go over that way. I remember that as being a thing, and that was the youngest version of me that's grappled.
Well, we didn't have a lot of technique back then. We were more pulling and using our strength and cranking. And plus, your neck isn't as conditioned as it is after many years of training. Either it's conditioned or you've built up so much calcium and scar tissue that you can't feel it anymore.
Or I think maybe I'd tap sooner, or maybe I don't let people mess with my neck as much. I don't know.
I think your neck's stronger, and I think most people you're dealing with has a lot better technique. I remember I used to try to can opener you, and that never worked because I got armbarred.
Well, that seems like an all right deal for me. Well, this interview today, it's interesting. Yanal is from Jordan, and I really enjoyed not just seeing. Everybody knows Brazil is the headquarters of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then of course the United States has a lot going on, and Europe is growing. But it's interesting to see it developing somewhere else. And Yanal started pretty early on in the country of Jordan. There was him. It was kind of like who we were. It was him and a bunch of new people. and they had to figure things out. And with it, bringing people in and getting a good instructor, it's developed over the years since he's been training. And he's quite the competitor. He's a brown belt now, and he goes to Abu Dhabi quite a bit, and he wins a lot of big tournaments down there. And it's interesting hearing how things are a little bit different. Like an armbar is an armbar, but some of their techniques have a little different names, and you kind of hear me get confused about what a technique might be, and he talks about his favorite technique, and I don't know what he means. So describe that to me. So I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about for his technique, because we call it different things. So it's interesting hearing the differences. Jiu-jitsu is the same. We all have the same body, no matter where you are in the world, but it's a little different, and they're training. You could tell they're training hard, and they're training very effectively. But I'm sure there would be differences if you went to the gym about what they're doing, and that's fine. But it's obviously working for him. He's doing great.
And didn't you just say he just had a tournament and won the absolute gi and no gi?
He talks about that. He I don't know when that was. I can't remember. The interview was a couple days back, but he won. I guess it was Abu Dhabi Cup in 2014.
That's
he
awesome.
won the quadruple gold, because I guess they have the no gi and gi like one day after the other.
Won his division and the absolute.
Yeah, in both.
Quadruple gold. That's awesome.
That is pretty cool. So, and he's got a super fight coming up in February. He's excited about. So, a lot of cool stuff happening out there. It's all over the world. When you have such a great art like this, when people get to learn about it, it's just going to spread.
And that's what it is. Everywhere you go now, you can probably find jiu-jitsu somewhere. And it's just growing and growing, and more people are going to be exposed to it and get into our club and just enjoy the times.
Yeah. Gary, you remember the great time we had last week with Gustavo?
We did. It was an awesome time. It was really inspirational talking to him. Yeah,
he's got his DVD is out. He's got a 4-disc DVD. I'll put a link to it. Actually, the link that we'll put up will be able to help support the show a little bit. If you buy the DVD through there, we'll get a little commission on that. Nothing, if you don't want the DVD, don't get the DVD to help us. But if you're going to get the DVD, if you click on the link, it'll help us out, and we appreciate that. If it's for you. Great information on there. If you're questioning it, go listen to the podcast with him. And if you like what you hear and you want more, the 4 DVD set. It's called the BJJMentalCoach.com, the Inner Discovery for Outer Success. Hopefully, it would help you out.
And I think that's the missing thing. I think we all train hard. We all have good instructors. We have good conditioning, strength conditioning, cardiovascular workouts. Hopefully nutrition's good. The one thing I think a lot of people are missing is the mental aspect. And definitely go check out BJJMentalCoach.com. Will definitely help you get your head right, get you in a positive mindset to go out there, do work, and have fun.
Yeah. Here's the good news, Gary.
Good news. I like good news.
Always. Gustavo's giving us our quote of the week. So here we
Awesome.
go. Let's get to that. What do you think?
Let's hear Gustavo.
If you're looking for a big opportunity, accept a big challenge. And everything I relate in my life, it goes back to this. Because if you stop to think about it, and people are home too, like, hey, think about maybe a little challenge that you accept that became into opportunity, and a big opportunity. Like you start becoming a firefighter because you train jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's true. I started training with guys that were firefighters.
Yeah, you accept the challenge. You're like, let me try this jiu-jitsu thing out. Let me see this thing. Now it became into a huge opportunity. Am I right?
Yeah.
So when you stop to track a lot of the things, like where you at in your life, take a look at some of the challenges. How many challenges have you been taking lately? You got to think about that. So be like, man, opportunity never come up and things. What have you been doing different?
Yeah.
Have you been trying anything different? You just did one thing.
That was Gustavo Dantes. If you are looking for a big opportunity, accept a big challenge. That's interesting. A lot of times we want the easy way to, the quick method to success, or something like that. You want it today or tonight, or overnight delivery or whatever. But things are hard, and if you want to have a big opportunity, a lot of times you do have to have a big challenge in order to get that opportunity, and that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. You're definitely, anytime you're going to take a big challenge, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be 5 minutes of work. You're going to have a huge challenge, as Gustavo said there. It's work, hard work. You're going to be knocked down. You're going to have to get right back up. You're going to get knocked down again. You're going to get back up, and it's a huge challenge. But the huge challenge is going to pay off. You have to take You have to take a big challenge, take risks to have a big reward.
Yeah, just think about education. Whether it's like formal or trade school, that's a big challenge. But if you stick with it and you get through the program, that can give you big opportunities. Most things are not just handed to you easily.
Yeah, nothing's handed. You got to go out and earn it. You got to go out and work for it, and you reap what you sow. Yeah,
and it's easy to see this in jiu-jitsu. If you want a big opportunity, you got to accept the challenge. If you want to win a big tournament or to do something, you have a particular goal in mind, you might have to step up and accept a big challenge in order to get that achieved. So that's why they call him the BJJ mental coach. He's got great advice like that, guys. Gary, the music, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, definitely make sure you check out our link there to Gustavo's 4 DVD disc set, and check out his page at bjjmentalcoach.com.
Yep. The music rolling in tells us that it's time for the article of the week. We've got an article from jujitsutimes.com. That's a really fun blog to read. They have a lot of great content on there. They always have real catchy titles that make me read them, and then I read them, and then that was cool. 3 things you learned about yourself through jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, definitely. The first one they've got listed: you are not as good as you think you are. And I can tell you, I was in the same boat when I walked into the gym the first time. I was working out every day. I thought I was pretty strong. I was a good athlete. I was in really good cardiovascular shape. And basically I thought, this can't be that hard. Well, I walked out there. I got tapped out by everybody numerous times at will. I had no clue what I was doing, and I had a massive ego.
You got tapped out by both the other guys?
But I was glad that you hadn't started yet, because I would have got tapped out by you too. So, I got tapped. I think there was actually like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
But it was a tough time. It was really eye-opening experience. But I'm also that guy. I've got a lot of drive. I don't just quit. As Gustavo was talking, it's a big challenge. I don't just quit just because I got destroyed. I figured it was going to be a lot of hard work, and I was going to, one day maybe I could be in the spot where I could tap somebody out, and that's what my goal was.
That's cool.
But definitely, you're going to learn that you're not as good as you think you are.
But, okay, point number 2 is you're better than you think you are, which comes into play a little later, but not much later. A month or 2 in jiu-jitsu, your ego has been beaten up. But still, none of your moves work. All these guys are really good at jiu-jitsu, and you know a little bit about jiu-jitsu at this point in time, and it seems like you don't know anything. But when the newer person comes in, your jiu-jitsu actually works, and so you are picking things up. It seems like you're not going anywhere. You're just standing still in your skill level, but really you're getting better. You're better than you were the first day by a significant amount. And it just doesn't feel any different, because everybody else they've got years of experience on you, and your month or 2 doesn't even compare to their years, but compared to you a little while ago, you're way better. You're better, so I think that is true. Your ego does get beat up so badly at the beginning that people, they'll think they're not that good at jiu-jitsu for a long time. And to be honest, you're not that good at jiu-jitsu for a long time. But compared to the average person who doesn't know anything, you're pretty good at jiu-jitsu. And it doesn't take that long to get pretty good at jiu-jitsu compared to the average guy who watches the UFC.
Yeah. I think everybody who watches the UFC thinks you can just walk in there, grab a head, and hit a guillotine on somebody. And it's not that easy. And that's what I thought. But, I think on this point, it made me start thinking about the coach. Your coach, your instructor, plays a very important role because it's so easy to quit when you first start. Your instructor needs to tell you, hey, really, kind of what you just said right there, Byron, is you're really not that bad. You've been going through it a couple months and your ego's taking a big, beating, but it's up to the instructor to give you some encouragement to keep you there. And I can think when we first started, nobody really came behind us, and you were better than I was. You got better quicker, and I was the bottom guy in that room. And at first I didn't realize how good it is to be the bottom guy in the room. But, my instructor would always tell me to keep going at it, and one of these days I'm going to get there. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah, the John Castillo, he's in episode 3. If you want to go way back, we talk about self-defense. But he was always telling you, or telling me, maybe not telling you, but telling me, he's like, no doubt, in a couple of weeks you're gonna understand this armbar a lot more, and you're gonna be able to do it. No doubt, in a couple of weeks your triangles, is going to be really nice. And then he would, a couple weeks go by, and I start to figure it out. He's like, man, that's really coming along nice. Always that the mix between like positive encouragement, and when you're doing it wrong, letting you know, hey, that's not it. You're not there. But no doubt, a couple weeks, we'll get you there. We're in it together. We're going to get you there. So I do remember a lot of encouragements about that. Gary, did you get any positive feedback, or were you just kidding?
I mostly got hit with the stick. And anybody who's trained with John knows I'm not kidding. Point 3, you must continue to advance your game and learn more. And really, this is just true. You've always got to keep expanding. You've always got to keep being innovative out there on the mat. Your training partners are going to figure out your moves. You need to work on different stuff, put yourself in some bad positions, and always constantly evolve.
Yeah, I think, the first 2, one of them will apply outside the mat. Either you're not as good as you think, or you're better than you think, but jiu-jitsu is different because at one point in time, there's a transition between those 2. And it happens many times. I mean, you could, you get your blue belt. Yeah, I'm a blue belt. And you go out there and you're not where the other blue belts are quite yet. And that's, you thought you were better than you were. And you get knocked down too far mentally. So that kind of, that happens. But the third one, you must advance your game to learn more. That's in everything. If you want to be good at anything that you want to be successful at, whether it be jiu-jitsu or, bowling,
firefighting, basketball.
You can't stop learning. There's no excuse. There's so much information out there in the world. It's so easy to get to, and there's always somebody willing to help you. There's no reason to say I'm done. I know it. If your doctor got became a doctor and they just closed that book, put it away.
Like, I'm done.
I'm gonna get to work, and that was 25 years ago. And I'm a doctor 25 years back, but today that's old. That's no good. I want a doctor who's always learning. I want I want people who are around me who are continuing to grow, who don't put an end chapter to whatever they're working on.
That is good. I never thought of it that way. If I've got a doctor who said, hey, I've already read this book and I have nothing else to learn, time to switch doctors. Definitely. You need to keep evolving, keep learning, and anybody can learn.
Yeah. And
it's an ongoing process. It never ends. And you should look at it that way. You never know enough. There's always more to learn. I
think that's at a lot of jobs, people get
complacent.
They get complacent, and if you want to move up and you're not putting the time into, this reminds me of Gustavo's interview. You've got to invest in yourself if you want to do well in something. You can't expect us to be better. If me and Gary are both working at the bowling alley and neither one of us are trying to get anything better, but Gary starts taking classes on how to do better customer service and all this stuff. He's either going to be managing me or have a better job at the batting cages before too long, and I'm going to be stuck because I'm not willing to work on myself at all.
Yeah, see, I would do it a little different. If I got promoted to the batting cages, when the machine broke down, I would just go out there and pitch myself.
You're crazy.
So we would always be taking in revenue. I'm a revenue generator.
I knew that the analogy. It's hard to make up a good analogy on the spot, and I think that little example I gave proved that. But anyway, that's the article. JujitsuTimes.com. They make a bunch of cool articles, and I just on Facebook like the page, and it seems like every other day I'm reading a cool article that they post on there. It seems like so. I like that website a lot.
Definitely check it out. You'll love it.
Gary, we've had a message from our friend Roy Marsh. He's got a guillotine seminar. If you're a guillotine person, you want to get to be a guillotine person, which to me is one of the best moves. It's from your guard or from standing, or those are the two easiest guillotines to land. If I want to guillotine Gary from my guard and I miss it, I still got my guard. If I want to triangle Gary, a lot of times he might pass my guard after my triangle fails. It's like I don't know. It's so simple, but there's so much to it. The guillotine is beautiful. And then, of course, your guillotines from the top are even stronger, I think. But anyway, we got a little message here from our friend Roy Marsh about guillotines. He does have a guillotine seminar for sale, and there's links to that in the show notes as well as the Gustavo DVDs. So I'm going to play that, and we'll talk about it real quick here.
Okay, so probably the biggest mistake I see with guillotines, certainly in MMA, is guys grab the guillotine and the guy can still drive forward and perhaps even lift and dump them and take side control, and they don't have the guillotine choke anymore. The way this stops, as long as he has a straight spine, he can drive forward. So when I get the guillotine and I start the choke process, I want to make sure that I'm forcing his head looking back at himself. This way, it's very hard for him to move forward. It's very hard for him to bring his hips underneath him. If I have his head looking at the mat or even at me, he could continue forward and take me down. But if I force immediately with my hips and my lats pushing to make his head look at himself, not only is the choke more effective, but his ability to come forward and take me down is basically gone.
Definitely a great piece of advice right there from Roy. You always hear, or I guess you don't hear enough about, once you've got the guillotine, you're just used to, okay, let's start applying pressure. But he makes a good point there. How many times have you seen somebody got the guillotine on? Next thing you know, the guy's still pushing forward. He pops your legs and he's in a side control. And so that's a great piece of advice right there to stop the guy from coming forward to be able to move to a better position. So that's one thing I don't hear much about. I thought that was pretty unique right there.
It's amazing how much weaker a strong person will become when you mess up their alignment of their spine. That's a huge concept in jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah, you'd figure every takedown, every sweep is based off of that, and same thing here. You're making it so he can't just keep coming forward. You've taken position away, you've taken his strength away, you've moved the angles, and like you said, not only that, you're making the choke more effective. So you've made it more effective, and you've more efficient and effective. He can't pass, and he's going to go to sleep if he doesn't tap. So great advice. Yep,
that was Roy Marsh, and we've got another couple more tips from him for some weeks to come. So look forward to those, guys. If you're interested in guillotine, like I said, there's a link in the show notes. Go by and find that, and it's available to download his seminar. A lot of good information on there if you're a guillotine person.
Or if you're not a guillotine person and want to get better, so which we all do.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, there are some parts of people's games that I do and don't want to have. I'm not really interested in this move, but this is good. Guillotine, can't think of anybody who wouldn't benefit by having a good guillotine.
Yeah, it's a basic move, but it's a very effective move. So we could all use that.
Yeah. Gary, what do you say we get with the interview with Yanal?
Let's get it going.
All right. Here's a quick message from the most interesting grappler in the world, and then we'll roll right on to the interview with our friend Yanal. He is the most interesting grappler in the world.
He does the berimbolo while passing your guard. He is known for a lightning-fast gi choke that he only does in no-gi. His triangle choke has 4 sides. One of his cauliflower ears was eaten by a vegetarian.
I don't always listen to podcasts, but when I do, I prefer the BJJ Brick podcast. Stay sweaty, my friends.
All right, my friends, I have Yanal Shahzadeh here with me on the podcast. How you doing today?
Well, I'm fine, and I thank you a lot for this interview, and it's nice to hear your voice.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
You are from Jordan. it's an honor to have somebody. We're starting to get out there a little more internationally, and it's going to be fun today to listen and to hear about how things are going over there as far as the jiu-jitsu scene, gi and no gi, and a little bit of MMA stuff. It's fun to watch the sport grow around the world.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yanal, if somebody hasn't heard of you, could you kind of describe yourself and what you do on and off the mat a little bit?
My name is Yanal Shahzadeh. I'm a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu under Coach Samy Aljamal, who is a 4th degree black belt. I started Jiu-Jitsu in 2008. The doctor, first when I started, the first month I started Jiu-Jitsu, I cranked my elbow actually. So the doctor told me you must be 1 month to get out of training and not to train.
Yeah.
So after 1 week, I couldn't stop training. So I went back to training. I said God give me 2 arms, not one. So I continued, and from the moment that I continued in 2008 till now, maybe I only skipped 1 week. I was sick in it only.
That's really good, and you've had, it sounds like, good health and good training record there. How'd you hurt your elbow in your first month?
Actually, my opponent did for me an arm bar, So I was I had a bit of ego, because it's my first first month. So I didn't want to tap, so it cranked, So that's what happened.
But you just used the other arm mostly for that month, for a little while.
Exactly. The doctor told me for 3 months, you must stop training jiu-jitsu. But I continued training in one hand, and till now, as I told you before, I only skipped maybe 1 week.
Yeah.
Really sick in it.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So you started in 2008. When did jiu-jitsu come to Jordan?
Well, jiu-jitsu started in Jordan in 2003, but it wasn't so familiar, because no one knew about it. But it became famous in 2005, 2006, and now it's growing more and more and becoming there's a lot of jiu-jitsu clubs and MMA clubs in Jordan.
Do you remember why you started?
Well, actually, I started because, I was into a lot of martial arts. I did Taekwondo and Wing Chun,
Yeah.
But the reason that I like Jiu-Jitsu because it's a full contact sport. It's not like other sport, you're punching a bag or hitting a bag. It's a full contact sport. And besides, it's good for your health and for your physical and mental health, And also, the nice thing about Jiu-Jitsu, it's put you in 100% of training, not just you get rest and while you're rolling, you're always putting pressure. You're trying to push your opponent, So I liked it a lot.
You like the aspect that you could train harder than you could in a striking art, where you have to kind of pull back and not hit as hard sometimes, right? Is that what I'm getting?
Exactly.
Cool. Do you remember what it was like when you started?
Sorry?
Has the classes changed quite a bit since you started in 2008 or?
Yeah, exactly. All the classes changed. Every opponent became more tough. When we started, we were all beginners. We were white and blue belts only. There weren't purple or brown or black belts. So we always fighting. Yeah, for now, I'm telling my students you're lucky because you have a brown belt that is rolling with you, or sparring with you. At our time, we're all white or blue belts, so it wasn't that tough now, They're lucky they have a lot of, guys to train with. We have black, brown, purple. So at our time, it was only white and blue belt, so no one to train with. Yeah,
I think when it first comes to a place, it's it's kind of difficult to get better very quickly because you don't have the upper belts telling you what you're doing wrong. You just have to figure it out for yourself, and hopefully your training partners will pick up on your mistakes and show you those.
And you'll get more injured because like you're both like beginner, they always like fighting tough, you know. They don't watch. Not like an advanced guy with beginner. He's always like, if you want to tap you out, he will wait for you a bit for you to tap. Not like a beginner.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you do off of the mat for fun? Or?
Well, actually, I enjoy like watching movies, going out for restaurants to eat. I love food, you know. It's my passion. Like my other hobby to eat like something healthy, of course, like steak, like chicken. Other than that, there's nothing. Honestly, only food and movies.
Food, movies, and jiu-jitsu. That's not so bad.
Exactly.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What weight class do you compete in?
Yeah, my weight class is in kilos. It's 94.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much is it in pounds, but it's 94 kilos, under 94. And I also compete on open weight.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've competed quite a bit. Could you tell us a little bit about your competition background? Yeah.
My first international competition, it was in the Emirates Super Cup in 2012 in Abu Dhabi. It's actually my first tournament to compete in internationally, and I was surprised by myself that on the no-gi I brought like 1 silver, and on the open weight 1 bronze, and the second day in the gi I brought 2 golds on my weight division and on the open weight. So I was like surprised of myself. I said like I can do it, you know. And actually my parents like didn't hear that I won, only from the newspaper the second day, you know. So, yeah.
So you were in the newspaper for that. That's cool.
Exactly. Yeah. And my parents knew from the newspaper. But later on, I competed in 2013, like 8 or 7 times. But the most like in Abu Dhabi Cup in 2014, I was the only one to win like 4 gold medals on my weight, open weight, both gi and no gi. And it was for me like a big achievement because I was the only one to bring 4 gold medals in one single tournament.
That is impressive. So you definitely look like you're one of the top competitors in that region there. How big of it?
Well, I don't want to talk a lot about myself, but they all know me, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, like someone of my team went there to compete. They tell him, "You're from Yanal school. You're Yanal's friend." You know, they're all afraid from me. And the nice thing also that the best achievement for me, it was in the Arabian Gulf Cup, also in 2013. 2014.
Okay.
I won Abdullah Asayev, who's a world champion of Abu Dhabi in 2013. I managed to beat him by points, of course, 7-4. So it was
that's good.
It's my greatest achievement ever.
that is good. What kind of a draw does the competitions in Abu Dhabi have? Like, where do people come from to go there?
Yeah, Abu Dhabi, like, you mean the nationalities?
Yeah, we're like people coming from Russia and from.
Yeah, well, Abu Dhabi, as I told you, it's becoming like international. Everyone is going there. There is from Russia, there is from Brazil, there is from Ukraine, from Poland, from Singapore, from China. You know, it's becoming like international. It's not like just a local tournament.
Yeah.
Like, it's always Abu Dhabi tournaments. They're all international. You know, so there's a lot of nationalities. Especially Russians and Brazilian.
And they have prize money, and that probably makes more competition come, right?
Exactly. That's why, like in Abu Dhabi, the competitors, they are more tough because either they won the trials, you know, for the World Cup.
Yeah.
or like they come for money.
Yeah, that always draws the best people.
On the high level belts like black and brown, there is a lot of prize money, especially in the World Pro. Like it reached like let's say $10,000 or $20,000.
Wow,
so,
that's
exactly.
that's cool. I wish we had that here.
Yeah.
What is your? Could you tell us a little bit about your style, or like some of the submissions that you like to do the most?
Well, the most submission like I do, and everyone in the class like tell me, "Oh God, like always you do it for us." It's the arm crank, either from the half guard position or from the full guard.
Is it like a Kimura, like behind the back, or like a straight
it's like
arm?
an arm bar.
Okay,
it's an arm bar, but it's opposite. It's above the elbow.
Okay, are you using? It's different than an arm bar, though. Are you using like your shoulder and your head to control the hand, or trying to picture?
Exactly. I'm using like my wrist to control the elbow.
Okay, and then where is their hand? Their
arm is extended on my shoulder.
Okay, I got you. So okay,
yes, exactly. It's arm crank.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm trying to. Yeah, we have. I guess I don't have a name for that particular move. I know what you're talking about, like from half or from guard, when you kind of trap their hand with your shoulder and your neck, and then you kind of get off to the side and put pressure on the back of their elbow, right?
Put that pressure on the elbow, exactly.
Okay, cool. That's a tricky one to pull off. That's good that you could do that so well.
By the way, in Abu Dhabi, like in the most tournaments, I submitted all the guys in this move.
Have you? Did you really?
Yeah.
What's the key? What am I doing wrong when they just get out of it, when they're able to bend their elbow or to pull their hand out?
Well, it's difficult, because like when I'm holding his arm,
yeah,
I'm like using my legs to push his face,
Okay.
So actually, I'm trapping his head. So if his head can't move, his whole body can't move. So actually, he tapped from the pressure,
That makes sense. I'll give that a try. That sounds fun.
Yeah, try it. Or sometimes I also use it from the side mount position.
Yeah.
Like I close a triangle over the head.
Yeah.
And I extend his arm and do also the arm crank from this position.
Yeah, I see. I'll see if I could get that on Gary. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Of course, one day I'll put it. Or you can also find it on YouTube. I think one of my fights, like I ended like this.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to. If I find it, I'll put a link to it on the show notes for everybody to see.
Yeah.
So, how often do you train?
Well, actually, I train like 3 times per week, and 3 times I do cardio. Like 3 days I do cardio, and 3 days I do jiu-jitsu. I don't like to train every day because I feel like your body needs recovery,
Yeah.
So I train like 3 days per week, but really training like for 2 or 3 hours continuous.
Yeah, that sounds intense. That's good at training. What do you do for your cardio?
My cardio, actually, I do like all the cardio, like the pull-ups, push-up. Like I do also with the gi pull-ups. I do like burpees, all sprinting. Because like I believe like the cardio for the jiu-jitsu, it must be like increasing your heart rate and decreasing it one time, like changing your heart rate. Oh,
like during a match, how it'll go fast sometimes and then it will slow down.
To explode, like in a fight, you're like closing guard, your heart rate is like really low, and you all of a sudden you explode, so your heart rate go up. So that's why I do like sprints, like for 1 minute sprinting, 1 minute resting, 1 minute sprinting, 1 minute resting, like this.
Cool. What are your goals that you have for yourself?
Well, actually, my goals like every fighter dream, like one day to be a world champion. I mean, and for now, like in February, I got like a tournament in Qatar, in Doha. It's like invitation for me to fight like a super fight against some guy from Abu Dhabi. So this is my mission now, to win this tournament, because it's like there will be in it Roger Gracie, Rafael Lavato. There is a lot of good names in it. So I'm invited to it to fight.
That's in February?
Exactly.
Do you have a day?
Honestly, they didn't send me still the schedule, but they told me it's in February.
Wow.
It was in December, then they changed it till February.
Wow, I'll be watching for you. That'll be fun, and if I could.
Thank you. Just wish me to win, because it's a tough fight, and it's the first time for Qatar to do like a Metamor style fight.
Just one fight for the day. Like, it's not a tournament where you fight multiple people, but you just have one super fight. Is that right?
No, it's only one super fight.
Cool.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That'll be good. You'll be able to use. You don't have to worry about saving energy for the next person.
No, but it's actually tiring, because maybe it's 20 minutes. And I think I must end it by submission or something like this.
Oh, it's submission only?
I'm honestly not sure about it, but they sent me already the details, but I'm waiting for the contract.
So have you watched most of the Metamorphoses that we've had?
Yes, I like Metamoris a lot, and I believe like Jitsu, it must be more about submission than points,
Yeah.
Like points, it's like, especially the advantage thing, it's, for me, it's kind of weird, like they must get rid of the advantage, and for the points, it's okay for me, but for the advantage, like sometimes like you lose the fight of advantage and it's like nothing, so, but for me, I prefer submission. I always go for submission.
Yeah. So the tournaments that you've done so far, they've had points and advantages, or just points?
No, points and advantages. But there is a lot of time I lost like advantage, but the referee cheated, I think. I'm not sure, but that's why I heard points and advantages. I prefer submission. And I believe like all the tournaments must be about submission, like Metamor style. Yeah.
That's when you train jiu-jitsu, it seems like we're training to get the submission, and then when people compete, they kind of forget that, or they don't focus on that, and they just want to win, even if it doesn't include getting a submission. So it's different for everybody.
I mean, it's not for for the points thing, Like sometimes the referee like cheat, or it's not like something good like the points. I go for submission. That's the best thing to do.
Yeah,
especially if you know that the referee is a cheater or something. You always go for submission.
If he taps, you win. All right.
Yeah.
So have you experienced much of like a referee from a different country will not be as fair sometimes?
Yeah. And sometimes in Abu Dhabi, like I don't want to talk about them, but I mean, like if the guy his nationality is from the Emirates or something, and the referee is always with him. That's once happened with me. This thing happened with me once. Like I'm gonna say it. There's nothing to hide. Like the fighter is Emirati, and he told me like, listen, Yanal, I'll give you the fight, but don't tap me out in front of my father because he's watching the match.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I will not tap you out. I will end it by points. He told me, okay. I went for side mount. The referee is not putting me a point. Mount, no points. I'm taking the back. There is no points. Then I discovered that the referee is with him. So I tapped him out. I choked him out, and I told him I forgot.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was going to win.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm looking at the screen, the points for him, not for me.
Wow. Is there a video of that, or was it on film?
No, there is actually a video, but I didn't upload it.
Yeah. That's strange.
Yeah, exactly.
That's too bad, because I mean, if you're a good competitor, you train hard, you're working, you get out there, and if you start to lose this way, you're going to lose the interest in competing. It's going to take the fun out of it for you. I mean, it's okay to lose, but if you go out there and you win and then you lose, that eventually will take the sport, and less people in your region are going to compete, because it's not fair. and people
course.
people want a fair competition. You can't always win, but if you lose and it was fair, well, you fought hard. I mean, sometimes you got to lose.
Of course, and the thing that people like always, especially BJJ competitors, there's this ego thing, like I don't want to lose, no. But for me, like every time you lose, it will open your mind on something new, So it's not, and as they say in Jiu-Jitsu, there is no losing. There is either winning or what you call it. I forgot what they said about it.
Either winning or you learn, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
How long have you been a brown belt?
Sorry?
How long have you been a brown belt?
Well, actually, in May, I received my brown belt. I took it from my grandmaster, which is Master Fabricio Martinez. His red and black belt, 7 dan red and black belt. So I received it in May, in the 20th of May, I guess.
Cool. Can you think of anything that you've learned since you've gotten your black belt that you didn't really think about or know as a purple belt?
On the brown belt, you mean?
Yeah, since you've gotten it.
Yeah, well, the brown belt now, it's for me, a brown belt, it's like a white belt from, the legs, from your legs, because like you're a white belt now because there is a knee bar, there is a cap slicer, there is so it's like a white belt for the legs, not for the arms, So, yeah, for me now, I'm focusing on leg locks. I'm training for knee bars because now you're using your legs also, not only your hands. Like in blue belt and purple, you have only a straight foot lock. But in brown belt, you have knee bar, calf slicer, heel hook. There's a lot of things. So now I'm training these moves,
So did you not... I know, like as a purple belt and a blue belt, you could not do those techniques, but
exactly.
Could you train them at your school?
Well, to be honest, we don't train them because, like, especially for white or blue belt, sometimes they're like the leg is more dangerous than the arm.
Yeah.
That you walk on your feet. So if you get injured, you can't walk. So no, we don't teach them until you reach brown and black belt only.
And you have some guys there that you could train with that know them.
Yeah, of course. We
good.
have like a bunch of brown belt. Like we have 4 brown belt and we have 3 black belts, and the other they're purple, blue, white.
So at these international competitions, is there one region that does leg locks pretty well?
Well, I believe the Russians.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, the Russians, they're good in footlocks because they're all wrestlers and Sambo black belts.
Yeah,
like they can compete under blue belts and they're black belts in Sambo and they're wrestlers, so they're really tough.
Yeah, you gotta watch your feet. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Because I mean, if they've been doing the Sambo and for like a long time, they're good at those. That's what they've been training and like you said, a white belt, for your legs, like the defense, it's going to be.
It's really hard.
Well, you just have to be ready for them, I think, and you'll do fine.
Yeah. But like the Russians, they're competing in like Abu Dhabi, blue belt or purple, and they're black belts in Sambo, and they're for like 10 or 15 years wrestlers. So like you'll be like really shocked. Their strength is so powerful,
Yeah.
And you say, "Oh my God, he's a blue belt. He must be a black belt."
Yeah. Sometimes we get that here because we have a lot of like in our schools, people wrestle, and you can become an amazing wrestler just doing it as a kid all through school, and then you put a gi on and it changes things, but your wrestling still works pretty well.
Exactly, but also like in my class, I always focus, on specific rolling and fighting more than the move. Because I believe, like, the move, like, if someone doesn't know jiu-jitsu and, like, he's fighting for, like, let's say 1 year, from the taps that he will make, he will ask questions, like, how will I protect myself, how I will attack, you know. So I always focus in my class on specific rolling and fighting more than the move itself.
That's cool.
Yeah, especially specific rolling, because it will put you in each position, from the half guard, from the mount, from the open guard. Will put you under pressure. Not like when you're doing a move. Sometimes like you do a fancy move and you will try to do it in a fight, it won't work. You know, so the specific rolling and the fighting make it work.
So do you start in a certain position and train that way?
Exactly. Like I give a move, of course, but like the time that I spend for the move is not like, let's say my class is 1 hour and a half. I warm up like for 20 minutes, we warm up. Then I give a move for 10 minutes or 12, 15 minutes. And the rest, 1 hour, half an hour, specific rolling from every position for 2 minutes each set. And then the last half an hour, it's all fighting, sparring. You know?
That sounds like a fun class.
Yeah,
to learn
visit
good jiu-jitsu.
One day.
Let's say you're getting ready to compete, like your big tournament or your big super fight in February.
Yeah.
It's natural to kind of be excited or nervous or whatever. What do you do before a big match to get yourself ready?
Well, before a big match, I always train hard. Like instead of training 3 days, I train 6 days a week. I increase my cardio. I watch out of my food. I eat a lot of carbs, especially sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And before the fight, when I'm warming up, I just put my headphones and listen to music and warm up good. Because like if you don't warm up, you go into the fight, you're like kind of like lazy, you know. You're like closing the guard. You don't know what to do. But when you warm up really good, when you sweat a lot, like it will put you. You'll be ready to fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Do you grab a teammate and kind of roll with them, or do you jog, or how do you warm up?
I warm up usually. I do jumping jacks and the sprawls.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, yes. And I wear a lot of jackets to warm me up.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Let's say.
Everyone is staring at you like before you're warming up is like looking at you, your opponent, you want to kill you, you know. So I don't care about these things. I just put my music on, and if I lose, I lose. If I win, I will win. Yeah,
that's important to accept. Like, there's a possibility you could lose, but if you go out there and you fight hard and you try to play your game.
Exactly.
If you're able to win, you should.
The most important thing always is like to fight till you're max. Like to really fight. Like do your best. And if you lose, there's no problem. But if you don't do your best and you fight, you know, like you will never win.
Yeah, I think sometimes people have a hard time doing that. Obviously, you're able to go out there and compete and do well, but like they go out there and they're too nervous, or they like you said, they're not warmed up good, and they're kind of slow starting.
Exactly.
So that's just fight to your max, like you said.
Exactly. Like I remember the first time I competed in that 2012, I was really nervous, you know, and I didn't warm up a lot, so I went into the first fight. But thanks God I won. But it was really a miserable fight for me, you know. I won by like really points, you know. But then the second fight and the third fight, I was doing well. But I learned, I discovered that warming up before the fight, like sweating a lot, will make you fight better, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tournaments you compete in, do they have a rule against knee reaping?
Exactly. There is knee reaping and... all the things that are not allowed in the IBJJF rules, they apply in Abu Dhabi. So
they do allow the knee reaping, or they don't allow it?
No, they don't allow it.
Okay, that makes the leg locks a lot less of a threat.
Exactly.
Because seems like most of the really good leg locks, you got to reap the knee.
Yeah, especially in MMA, it's allowed. You know.
That's a very strong leg lock to do that.
Yes.
So that's good for you to learn your leg lock escapes if they're not able to cross that middle line with their outside leg.
Exactly. But sometimes, your opponent, once I heard that the opponent of a guy that is reaping, he hold his foot and he bring it inside, so the referee disqualify him,
Yeah.
So I always try to put my leg from the outside to the inside, not the opposite, to be in the safe side,
Yeah. You got to keep it. Make it easy for the refs to not get you in trouble. Be safe with that.
Exactly.
If one of your students is going to do their first tournament, what would you tell them, advice wise?
Well, actually, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Jordan there is a local tournament. A lot of my students won a lot of gold medals and silver medals. But what I tell them to do, actually, for me, since I competed in Abu Dhabi and no one went with me with my teammates, I only went alone.
Yeah.
I prefer during your fight, not to tell. If I'm the coach, I will not tell my student what to do. I'll leave him to do what he know.
Yeah.
Because if I shout to him, do this, do side mount, do no, he's gonna get confused. So even if he lose, it's okay. You know? So that's I don't like to interrupt, to tell him what to do.
Sometimes it seems like a remote control will change the channel on a TV and somebody wants to control the person on the mat with a remote. They tell him, grab with your left arm and now move your head. You've trained that person. That's your student. They know what to do because you've taught them what to do.
Exactly.
Let them work. Let them fight the fight.
Exactly, and even if he lost, I'll teach him what to do next time. But I don't like to confuse him a lot. 100 person is shouting, and I'm shouting with them.
Yeah. I think when I'm coaching, if there's something that they totally are if they're too nervous and they don't see something that they're really good at, maybe I'll tell them. Or if they're getting in trouble and they don't realize it, I'll try to let them know that he's looking for your arm or something. But let them. Let them do what they're going to do. It's them, and you did that a lot. Because you said you would travel and go by yourself.
Exactly, and one story that happened with me. I'm gonna tell you two funny stories.
Good.
First one, in Abu Dhabi, in the Abu Dhabi Cup, I went alone. There is no coach with me, no one. So my opponent's coach is tell him, hold him, grab him, hold him well from the side mount. I was really angry, so I did well, So sometimes bad things turn to good things, I did well because he's always telling him put pressure on him, and when I'm hearing him, I was really angry, So I explode more. I was really tired. So
that's
and the second funny story about me, since I told you I never quit jiu-jitsu, maybe for 7 days only since the 7 years.
Yeah.
That I did a LASIK operation for my eyes.
Okay.
And the doctor told me be careful, you must not train for 4 months, otherwise if someone's finger came inside your eye, it's a big problem. So I went as usual, I continued training without skipping. I bought a goggles,
Oh yeah.
and I put them and I trained with them. But the problem with them, it was really there's a lot of steam coming out of them. So I went and I bought a basketball glasses.
Yeah.
And each 1 week I spent $20 for the glasses because they keep breaking up,
Yeah, they're not made for people to try to smash your face or choke you or triangle choke.
Exactly. But for me not to stop training, I kept training. Even the doctor told me. A lot of people saying you're crazy. You go train. You did the surgery. Second day you went for training.
I could just picture you with the goggles on and they're all fogged up. You can't see anything.
Yeah, you're kind of blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I'm thinking back to when you would go travel alone and go compete. What was that? I mean, people do that here. A lot of times, like a big team will go and the whole team is there and they're competing together. But a lot of times, somebody is from a smaller team. They buy their plane ticket and they show up. They're by themselves. Do you have any advice for somebody that's in that situation?
Well, for let's say for me, like I used to do that, but always I'm searching for sponsorship,
Yeah.
And I found a couple of sponsors, but they don't always sponsor me, This is the problem with the international tournament, that you must find like a real sponsor, But but for me, for my students in April, my students, I told them to compete in the World Professional Jiu-Jitsu Cup and to pay from their own money, just to try what is the tournament feels like,
Yeah.
So, like you must spend money, if there is no sponsor, and like you want to become better fighter, to become like a world champion, to become a famous person, you must like spend a bit of money until you find a good sponsor for you.
Yeah, that's part of the. I mean, you spend a lot of time. You're gonna have to spend some money traveling and competing.
Exactly.
Training.
Like, especially there's a lot of countries that don't have any tournament, like so they're unlucky because they must always travel to either Europe or America or Brazil, or so they spend a lot of money, of course. But if you did well and you train hard on yourself, it's worth it.
Yeah. When you go to like Abu Dhabi and they give you prize money, do you make money, or is it even?
It's good money, but I mean, I spend it there.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I buy a lot of things. I love electronics, and I like hotels and traveling. So actually, like, if I want money there, instead of leaving like Dubai or Abu Dhabi, like in 2 days, I leave it after 10 days. I spend more 10 days there.
You stay a little longer.
Exactly.
Are you able to train there?
Yeah, actually, there is a lot of dojos there. I go train with them, and one of them, it's a Pride Fitness Center. I trained with them, and I did really well. I was really a purple belt, and I did well with the black belts. They told me, "No way, you're a purple belt." I said, "Yes, I'm purple belt." And then when I came back, I got promoted to brown belt.
Well, cool. That sounds like a good way to remember how you got promoted to be a brown belt. Do you remember what you were like as a blue belt?
Well, the blue belt for me, it was like I discovered the whole jitsu in the blue belt. Not the whole jitsu, but I discovered a lot of moves. It's the most belt that I got improved on it, and it's the hardest belt I ever competed on it. Yeah. Because, there's a lot of blue belts, like in the bracket, you find 20 or 30 persons with you, It's not like they say, like, not a lot of people reach purple and brown and black belt, especially brown and black, because it's a long time, It's like 7-8 years. So, especially in Abu Dhabi Cup, when I got the 4 gold medals, I played on the no-gi. The first day I played like 12 matches, and the second day on the gi 10, Wow. And all the opponents are Russian.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So the blue belt for me, it was a big transformation, in my game and everything.
Yeah, I like that. You kind of say that it was like a discovery time for you to learn a lot about jiu-jitsu and to kind of figure out what you are going to get good at. Were you doing your arm crank as a blue belt, or did that come later?
No, actually when I became an advanced blue belt, I started doing this. But when I reached purple, I started like adding or adjusting my move, Yeah. And also on purple belt, I did something. If you open also the YouTube videos, I did a modified X-guard sweep. I did it alone. I don't know. It's a modified one. I swept his name, Abdullah Asayev, was the world champion I told you before. Yeah. I swept him 2 times with this move.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you watch my fight on YouTube, you will see it. It's a modified X guard. I did it. Like, I prevented, you know, on my purple belt.
That is cool.
Still working till now.
You know, I've been. I think maybe as a blue belt, I was competing with a guy, and he swept me one time. Yeah. And, you know, we keep going, and I end up getting back on top. And he did the same sweep the second time. I feel like an idiot. Like, he's doing it again. Like I was like disappointed as he was doing it. That he's doing it again.
No, but seriously, you must watch it. I'll send you the video of it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll put
it works really good. Trust me.
I'll put a link to it. It'll be fun to watch that one.
Please do.
Do you have any advice for a student? Like, let's say they're in that kind of that blue belt phase. They're learning. They're like discovering about their jiu-jitsu. How do they take that and then figure out what's good for them to do?
Like new students.
Yeah.
Well, look. To be honest with you, the white belt till 6 months for a new person to start to discover what's jiu-jitsu about. Like, I remember when I first started, the first 6 months I was like really putting pressure, and everyone is sweeping me because, like, in jiu-jitsu, like, you must not put a lot of power. You must balance yourself. I was really the opposite. I was like putting a lot of force, and the guy all of a sudden he swept me. You know, so
yeah.
For new students, I tell them, like, take your time. For me, on the white belt, I stayed for 2 years, 4 months on my white belt till I got my blue belt. So the white belt, there's a lot of things that you will still need to learn, and I believe, like, the belts from white to blue, it must be the longest time.
Yeah. There's a lot of learning there.
Exactly.
So, like, the first year of a student, what would be a good goal for that person?
The first, like, what to learn exactly?
Yeah, like, or what to learn, or what they should try to focus on.
I think they must focus on like attacking from the guard or controlling the side mount position. How to control a guy, like the around the world thing, like the scarf, the side mount, the north-south, and the mount. This is the best drill ever for new students, because at the first thing, like, you must know how to defend yourself rather than attacking, you know. Then when you learn how to defeat yourself, you will start attacking. So for me, I tell the new students, like, always focus on basic things that will help you, like, to improve your game, not like to attack. Like, go for, like, a lot of students, they go for an armbar, you know, they're happy with the armbar. But for me, my students, I always teach them the side mount control and how to control the person rather than attacking. Attacking, I teach it like later stages, at 6-7 months later.
So you mentioned a drill you called Around the World. So I'm picturing you start with side control, like both your knees are near their body, and you go to, like, the scarf fold to where you turn your hips, and then you go around to north-south, and then you go back around the whole way. Scarf. Yeah. Okay, reverse it. And then you go all the way to mount. And being able to do those transitions and keep control is going to help them the entire time they do jiu-jitsu, not just as a white belt.
No, not just a white belt.
That help. You need that all the time.
But the first couple of months, I think the focus it must be on this position.
Yeah.
Like, because the jiu-jitsu, it's all about the hip, moving your hip.
Yeah, and there is a lot of that drill. There's a lot of good hip movement, and if your hips are wrong, they're going to get out.
Exactly. It's going to shrimp and recover the guard. So I always do the Around the World. I focus on it a lot, and then I proceed for the guard, you know, because for the second important thing is how to sweep from the guard, you know.
What sweep do you like for a new student?
For a new student, scissor sweep.
Yep, that was my first sweep.
It's really effective, the scissor sweep, you know. I like it a lot.
And then they always say, it doesn't work anymore. because the guy will like sit back and put the weight on his legs. Well, you have to pull them onto you, and get the weight off their legs.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because I believe like in the scissor sweep, if the guy have a good base, is opening his knees a lot.
Yeah.
Then you must like kick his knee with your foot in order to sweep him, not to use the regular scissor sweep.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't have a balance, you use the scissor sweep. But if he's opening his knees a lot, he have a good posture, good base, you must kick his knee.
So put your foot on the top of his knee and push it away?
Exactly.
I like that because I remember doing that, and it was like, I learned the scissor sweep, I liked it, and then it didn't work. And then that's the way all of jiu-jitsu is. Like, you learn a move, and then it works, and then people figure it out, and it doesn't work. Like, you have to figure out what's next. Every technique I have, there's always like, what do I have to do when they do this? Okay, he has a good base. Push the leg, and so that same theme of like, okay, he's gonna do this to prevent my triangle choke. Now I have to do this. You just move to the next thing. You can't keep trying to do the same scissor sweep. You got to push his leg away. I like that. That's a good way to learn about like jiu-jitsu in general. Yes,
you must always change your game. Especially if you're training in the same place, same dojo, and all your partners like know your move, it will not work again. But if you went to another dojo, it will work. So you must always keep changing your game for them to get confused.
and to get better and to learn more things too.
Exactly.
What are some traits or some like a personality trait or anything really about like a new student that you think when you see them that they'll pick it up and they'll do good at jiu-jitsu?
Well, I believe if they're paying attention to me.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Exactly, but there's a lot of like students like they get really bored. I like to focus on one or two moves and keep repeating them. But a lot of students, like they get like really, they start talking. They don't want like you did it. Yes, I did it. Show me. He will not do it well. So, and there is another type of students which they pay attention and they'll get like they want the game to become better. They want to become good fighters. They're always paying attention. But for me, a good student will always repeat the position. Will not get like really bored of the position. And if I see the other guy is bored and talking and is not really serious, I separate him from my good student. Because if he went with my good student, he will...
he'll slow that good student down.
Exactly. So I always make sure that if I'm seeing a group of students that are really willing to become like a really fighters to compete, I give them more time than the regular students that were coming just to have fun,
Yeah. So pay attention when he's showing the technique, and then when it's time for you to do the technique, use all of that time and continue to do the technique and to try to figure it out more than just I do it 4 or 5 times and think you understand it, because it takes way more than that to get a technique down.
Exactly, especially in the fight, as I told you before. Like, it's the most important for me, the move to work in the fight, not to move like while he's doing it. Because when you go compete and the move doesn't work, because you didn't do it well or you didn't practice it a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why specific rolling, as I mentioned before, it's a good way to put you in every position under pressure.
Yeah. So we're in December now. So next year you have a super fight. What else do you have coming up next year?
After Qatar in Doha, I have the World Pro in April, the World Professional Jiu-Jitsu in Abu Dhabi. It's the biggest tournament, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's in the 20th of April, 21 or 22 of April. So this is my next step after Qatar.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'll be good. If somebody wants to keep up with you and watch your results and your training a little bit, is Facebook the best way to do that?
Exactly. I have a page. It's called Yanal Shahzadeh. It's on Facebook. Anyone can like my page and review my videos. I got a lot of videos there, and everything is there.
Okay. I'll put a link to that and make it easy for people to find. That way they could go by there and like it and keep up with you and watch your super fight and watch you in April. That'll be a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
Do you have any sponsors you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I like to mention I have too many sponsors, but I like to mention the Aramex. They're like a DHL company, and Al-Shami for Ayun, their eye center also, and Trainer's Gym also. It's a gym that provides me with sponsorship just to train over there, and those are my sponsors for now. And I would like also to thank you for your time. Yeah,
it's been fun, and I've learned a lot about your got some good advice from you, and then how the jiu-jitsu is going in the area, and it's been fun learning about everything out there.
Thank you, and I wish one day you'll come for a visit over here.
Well, welcome. I will. If I'm in the area, I will definitely give you a call, and it'll be. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Sure. Thank you, Brian.
Yep, I'll talk to you later, man. All right, my friends, that was our interview with Yanal. Get a hold of him and like his Facebook page, or that'd be a good way to keep up with him. Always interesting to hear jiu-jitsu around the world and how it's developing and growing. That's cool that he was in on it so early on, and he's definitely ahead of the curve out there. Looking forward to watching him compete in a super fight coming up. Good news, guys. Next week we have an interview with Coach John Kavanagh from Ireland. He's Straight Blast Gym in Ireland. He's got these top MMA guys putting on gis on a regular basis, and it boils down to they just love it. They just love the entire martial arts, and they're just soaking it up. And I asked him, I didn't ask him flat out what's the secret, but what are you guys doing there? What's going on? He says step one, they enjoy it. Step two, they've been doing it for a long time. Those are his big keys. So we do dive deeper, obviously, in the interview, but it's amazing to hear such a high level coach talk about the need to enjoy what you're doing, and that hit me good, because that I'm big on that. Nobody would do this if it wasn't fun. I can't imagine doing this if it wasn't fun.
Yeah. Well, I even remember your speech when you got your black belt there. You were telling everybody to have fun. This is fun. Enjoy the journey. Have fun during it. And you said it probably 3, 4, 5 times over, and that is your big thing there, is just to have fun. And if you have fun, I think you're going to do better.
Yeah, I guess I said that. I don't remember it. All I remember was I said 3. I thanked everybody that was there, and I said it was an honor, and then there was dead silence, and Andre just looked at me like, that's not enough. So I had to go on.
Well, you didn't get to prepare anything. That was right off the cuff. But you should have practice, due to the show there, Byron.
I'm probably better off because of the show. That's true. So, Gary, we've got this crazy review. Why would somebody write us a review?
Well, first of all, because we ask people to every week. I think that might be
That's reason. Definitely. We do appreciate 5-star reviews. They help get the word out about the podcast. If you write one, we in the past we have had a tendency to send you out a free gi patch, and we're still doing that in the near future until we run out of patches.
And we still got a bunch left.
We got quite a few. We're not going to run out this week, that's for sure.
Maybe next week.
Time is limited, my friends.
So get your review in.
If you write us a kind of a funny review or interesting review, I guess, and then email us at bjjbrick@gmail.com or message us on the Facebook page. We'll be happy to send you out a gi patch. It's just an honor to have you guys listen and then take the time out of your day to write something about us. Our friend here, this was a 5-star review, so I'm not able to read it all. It's over a page long. I'm not that good at reading into a microphone, but B, it's over a page long. So he does cut us up pretty good, which we've asked for. But I'll read a little bit over here. At BJJ Brick, you will find 2 hosts: Byron, a recent black belt, possibly via eBay, which I can't deny that. He maybe via eBay. Gary, the old guy who seldom wears a gi, so he never reached the ranks of black belt, which Gary would be. You've trained longer than me, and you still murdered me on the mats, Gary. So Can't deny
But
anything about that.
I have no choke defense.
Yeah, so he says he speculates that Gary has developed a choke defense, he has not developed a choke defense, which would explain why he prefers the no-gi style of grappling. I'm guessing gi choke specifically. It goes on. There's tons of crazy stuff in here. He teases us pretty good. He also says that he sleeps best on Mondays, because he plays a podcast next to the bed there, and he listens, and he just fades away into sleepy land. It's one of the best sleep aids he's ever had.
I also like the part where he talks about how you hog the mic there.
I do. I always feel bad, but I always want to say more stuff.
No, hey, for all you listeners there, a lot of times I'm not here during an interview, so that's probably why you think Byron hogs the mic a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm trying to get Gary to set up with where he could interview people without me, but that would be cool. But we don't have that sort of equipment laying around. I've got it all at my house. So basically, I'll set up an interview, and then I'll message Gary, say, hey, are you going to be free tomorrow at 2? I'm doing an interview. It's the middle of the day. It's usually during the middle of the week, and most of the time he's busy. So.
I've actually done some at work. I hope none of my bosses are listening, but most of the time it is Byron, so he really isn't hogging the microphone.
Well, but just right now, I'm probably talking more than you are, man. So hogging the mic. So there's tons of stuff on here on the review. He does say, he ends up pretty clever. He goes, Byron and Gary, just like the cotton ball in a bottle of aspirin. I don't know why you're in here, but it sure aggravates the heck out of me. So. And
how many people have always said that about that cotton ball in the aspirin bottle? I really never knew why it was there. I guess to keep them from shaking around maybe. But it always aggravated me when I was a kid, and I was trying to I'd pull out the cotton and a little piece would come out. I'd have to pull out the cotton some more. Finally, I'd stick a pencil in there and pull it out. It was the only way. I hate that cotton. Well, I guess that means people hate us.
Man, I'm just
let's
laughing
rephrase
that. Yeah, I think you're right.
We appreciate Andy for his comments there.
Yeah,
and Andy always just listened to us, and I really, really appreciate that. And he actually did throw in some good stuff about that. He put BJJ Brick is very consistent. Always expect a new program ready for listening each Monday. And that's our goal, to get one out every Monday, and to help Andy sleep better on Monday nights. So far, so good. The original goal was once a week, but I think by honing it in on just Mondays, it really makes me hammer down. We're recording this Sunday night, so I'll be hammering down on this thing Monday morning, and I'll get done. Otherwise, I could put it off I'll just do it Tuesday. I'll do it Wednesday. I think having Monday, it makes me work a little harder sometimes, but it makes us more consistent. But Byron works better under stress.
It's not really stressful. It's just time allocation, I guess, would be an easy way to say that.
There you go.
What else we got? Yeah, we've messaged him quite a bit on Facebook. If you want to get a hold of us, he's done that. He sent us both emails at bjbrick@gmail.com. Also, good ways on Facebook. So if you send us an email at Gmail, I get that, which is fine. And if Gary needs to know something, I'll forward it to him. But that's usually just to me. If you want to get a hold of both of us, message us on Facebook there, or hit us up on Twitter. Well, actually, I haven't figured Twitter out either yet. So hit us up. Message us on Facebook, and that way we'll both see it. And usually we'll try to respond at least a couple times. Like, we'll sign our name at the bottom, who you're talking to, because it can be confusing.
Because I like to sign my name as Byron when I'm talking to somebody and I get somebody riled up. So I'm used to doing that.
Gary, that's
just
not
so they
nice.
hype Byron.
Gary, that's not very nice, man. You're making me look bad out there.
I've got two dojo storms scheduled for you for next week. So be prepared.
Hope my little muscle in my ribs heals up by then, man. I'll bring your buddy Shamani with me, and we'll storm those dojos up good.
Yep, Shamani will be ready.
All right, guys. We're in Wichita, Kansas, middle of the country here. If you're ever in the area, give us a holler, and we'll be happy to train with you. That's always fun. It's always a little disappointing when I get spotted by a listener by the logo. It's like, dang it. That looks enough like me to where they recognize me. Gary's been recognized as well, but for some reason his is less disappointing.
Oh well, it's flattery.
Yeah. So anyway, catch us next week. We've got John Kavanaugh. It's an amazing interview. Go back and listen to the interview with Matt Thornton, and they're right on par with each other. They're good buddies, and they're always communicating with each other. They've got excellent training philosophies, so it's going to be an outstanding time next week. So we'll catch you then.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you for listening. I hope you find the time today to roll. After all, the best way to get better at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.